Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. My 21 female parents had me when they were in college. After a year, my mom left us. Her name remained on my birth certificate, but my dad had all the rights to me. My dad and his older sister raised me until my aunt married when I was 9, and then it was just me and my dad. A few months ago, I was contacted by my mom. She was sick and dying and wanted to see me. I was kind of curious for my other family and went to meet her. My mom married and had another daughter, Mindy, 17, and a son, 13. Her 2 siblings were also there when I visited her. I want to say it was an emotional reunion, but I seriously don't know this woman, and she was pale and weak on her bed. So, other than some sympathy and pity, I didn't feel much for her. Everyone else left except her nurse. We talked and updated each other about our lives. She did fine for herself, and I'm in a good school, so nothing much to worry about. Before I left, she gave me a gold and diamond bracelet saying it was my grandmother's and made her nurse act as a witness. I took it. Her nurse then said she needed to rest, and I left her side. I didn't really talk much with Mom's new family or my aunt and uncle because they didn't seem to want to talk to me. So I kinda nodded at them and left. My mom passed a month ago. I attended the funeral along with my dad. I wore the bracelet, and at least a few family members saw it. My mom's sister contacted me a week ago, saying the bracelet should be Mindy's, as it was supposed to pass from oldest daughter to oldest daughter in our family. She said I have not been part of the family until like a month ago, and I didn't deserve the bracelet. I told her that my mom gave it to me with the nurse as a witness, and the bracelet is mine. I said that if they want it so bad, I am willing to sell it to them. She called me a selfish a-hole and said the bracelet carries a lot of sentimental value for the family, and I only saw money. She said my mom was sick and incapable of making any logical decisions, and I took advantage of her unwell state when I just accepted the bracelet. She said I was robbing Mindy of a chance to carry on the tradition and that she loves the bracelet, and I just stole it from her. Again, I said they could buy it for me at a reasonable price. I think I offered a perfectly reasonable solution. Am I the a-hole? OP is not wrong for accepting the bracelet. OP's bio mom did pass the bracelet on to her eldest daughter, who is OP. Also, OP's mom might have felt guilty and wanted to give OP the bracelet in lieu of child support and the lack of involvement in OP's life. Looks like OP's mother was quite sure that Mindy would pull this kind of stunt, or she would never have asked the nurse to remain as a witness during what was a private conversation. OP does not have to have an ongoing conversation with these people, and should block them. And now let's hear the community's opinion. BBQ Quail says, "Not the a-hole. I don't think I can judge you as anything else. You are your mom's oldest daughter, and she specifically called you over to meet her when she knew she did not have long for this world to pass you the bracelet. Very intentional. Keep the bracelet or sell it. It is legally and ethically yours." Individual Ad says, "Not the a-hole. Your mom made the decision to pass this family heirloom along to her firstborn. Your biological aunt has no business interfering." Gator Toad says, "Not the a-hole. Calmly and firmly remind them when they contact you demanding that you have to give over the bracelet, that per family rules, it's handed down from eldest daughter to eldest daughter, and despite what they think, you are her eldest daughter. Because after all, not only did she give birth to you, but she also chose to follow the rule of giving it to the eldest, and it's not your fault that she and the rest of the family chose to abandon you. So therefore, they can go to Bunnings, buy some timber, build a bridge, and get over it. These were your mother's actions, and you had an independent witness. Don't be afraid to engage in a lawyer and have them served with a cease and desist letter, stating any further contact will be deemed as harassment, and as such, legal action will be taken." My 17 female parents are divorced, and I spend 50-50 with each parent. To be honest, going to my mom's is awful. She has a stepdaughter, 17 female, that I don't like because she's always stealing my clothes and wearing my jewelry. I've done everything I can to make her stop, including talking to my parents, but she refuses to listen. It's gotten to the point that I hardly keep valuable stuff or clothes, jewelry, I like at my mom's. My stepsister had a dinner with her boyfriend's parents yesterday, and I also had planned a little date with my boyfriend today. Because of that, I brought a cute dress that my mom bought me a while ago, shoes, makeup, and a few pieces of jewelry, and kept them in my bag. She spent all morning getting dressed up and ready. My mom and I saw her getting in 3 to 4 outfits until she says she's leaving. I look at her and she's wearing my ducking dress. I ask what she was wearing, and she says that nothing she had was cute and she found this dress in my room. I say, "No, you snooped around my things and found that dress in my bag. Take it off." She says she's already running late and can't do, but I put myself in front of the door and tell her to go change. That's when I notice she's also wearing my necklace and a ring, and I explode. I yell at her, "Take off my stuff, you ducking thief! I'll call my dad. That's mine. Take it the duck off." She starts to cry, and my mom asks her to go change and give me my things back. She yells she's running late and blah blah blah, but I don't care, and I don't move. She goes back to her room and changes, then throws me my stuff back and storms off. My mom said that what I did was not nice, and that I shouldn't have called her thief, and when she's about to berate me, I just cut her off and ask her to let me call my dad so he can also hear how she's going to give me a talk because I didn't let her lovely daughter steal my stuff. She sent me to my room, and I heard her and my stepdad fight at night. My dad's on my side, but both my mom and her husband agree that I was an a-hole, and a friend of mine thinks I shouldn't have made my stepsister change when she was already late. I'm about to go out, and I'm definitely wearing the dress and the rest of my stuff. OP's mom is being a truly bad parent here. Stepsister is out of control, and they are failing to curb her behavior. I'd be tempted to tell everyone at OP's mom's house that the next time she steals, OP is calling the police. But I'd ask Dad first. I bet OP's mom is horrible in a lot of other ways. Clearly, she has no concept of boundaries. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Samu 2020-15 says, "Take your valuables to your dad's, and don't leave something you don't want her to touch in her reach. I had to get a lockbox that only I had the combo for to keep unwanted hands out of my stuff. But you're also 17 and do not have to continue to go to your mom's if you don't want to. Judges take that kind of thing into consideration." Jeepers Creeper 74 says, "Not the a-hole. Even if the dress had just been lying around, she knew it wasn't hers to take or wear. But to break into your bags is next level. You are old enough to choose who you live with and have any court sign off on it. Time to tell your mom you want to live with your dad full time, and she can visit you for a change." Bailey the Nerd says, "Not the a-hole. You know this. I know this. Everyone who isn't an entitled brat knows this. Your things are your things. Your stepsister being late to something does not change the fact that she was attempting to steal your clothes. What kind of an insane standard is that? Maybe direct her towards stealing from your mom's wardrobe next time instead." So I, 22 female, received a visit from my mom for New Year's Eve. She came with one of my cousins and we hung out for a couple days, and it was great. The only time things were bad was when she asked if I could loan her about $500, and she promised to Cash App me the money back when she got paid next time. I told her no. She tried to argue with me, but I shut her down and she let it go. A week later, I noticed my credit card was missing. I don't use it very often, usually just for a couple automatic bills. I had logged into my account online to pay my balance since my check came through that morning, and I saw that my balance was much higher than I had expected. There were 3 charges I expected: my electric bill and my phone bill and some gas, and then several charges that I knew weren't for me. They were for fast food, clothing places, etc. I thought it might be a glitch, so I called my credit card company and checked my wallet for my card. I realized it was missing, and the nice customer service rep helped me with that whole process. But then I started walking through everyone my wallet had been around, and every place it had been left since my last physical use of it. I ended up texting my mom because it was stressing me out, and I felt like I needed to talk to one of my parents. But Dad and I aren't on great terms. When I told my mom what happened, she told me not to worry and that it wasn't stolen. She had borrowed it. To be honest, I did lose my cool once I realized she wasn't joking. She insisted she'd Cash App me the money when she gets paid the next day, and that she thought she'd be able to handle it before I even noticed. I told her that's not acceptable and to cut up my card. I deactivated it anyway. She got upset and told me to stop throwing a fit and that she can't believe I'm being such a brat about helping her. Things escalated from there, and I did call her some names before telling her to not contact, come around me, and hanging up. After that, I called the police both in my area and in hers to see which precinct I needed to file charges with. My mom has blown up my phone so much since this that I've had to block her, and she is posting all over Facebook about how I'm getting her thrown back in jail just for borrowing some money, and how she can't understand how she raised such a stingy child. Am I the a-hole or losing my mind? I don't think I did anything wrong here. In my opinion, OP did nothing wrong. OP's mother brought this on herself. She stole OP's credit card and used it. That is illegal, and without a police report, in most states, you can't get your money back from the company. Clearly, OP's mother is not planning on paying OP back, since she didn't agree to OP's request and hasn't given OP money. OP did exactly what she needed to. I might be Weasel says, not the a-hole. She can call it whatever she wants, but she robbed you plain and simple. And none of the charges you mentioned on your card sound like things that couldn't have waited one day if she was really going to get the money by then. Grouchy Kitten 1517 says, not the a-hole. She's getting thrown back in jail. Sounds like your mom doesn't make great choices. Honestly, someone stealing from you is insanely violating. If my own family member stole from me, they'd pretty much be dead to me. That's their way of saying they have zero respect for me and give two craps about me. I'll take them at their word. Efficient Wheel 6333 says, not the a-hole. She asked you for money. You said no, as is your right to say when it comes to your money. She decided the best thing to do was steal your credit card instead. My parents never asked me for money. The one time my mom took money out of my account, she paid me right back, and it was an accident on her part. To explain would be a bit long. But too long didn't read. The bank attached her new debit card to my account since said account also has her name on it. I, 34 female, became friends with Melissa, 32 female, in 2013 during grad school. We were friends up until 3-ish years ago. So Melissa grew up very sheltered, always had a lot of drama going on, and had a messy romantic life. She would date guys that were objectively terrible partners, but would always try to make it work. It was annoying, but overall we were good friends. I became pregnant with my son in 2018, and one of our mutual friends became pregnant around the same time, and I think she really struggled with it. She would make comments like, "I want a baby, so I will be fulfilled," and about how she just wanted to get pregnant. She started having an affair with an older married man that lasted approximately 3 to 6 months. He cut it off, but from comments she was making at the time, I was concerned she was going to try and secretly get pregnant by him. That was strike 1. Strike 2 was she started having an affair with an ex-boyfriend who also was married, and his wife had just had a baby. One night they went out drinking. He was driving her car and ended up hitting a light post. They ditched the car and called an Uber. She didn't want him to get in trouble because he had a previous DUI, and she was basically talking about committing insurance fraud and talking about potentially claiming that the car was stolen. She even asked me if I would be her alibi. I said absolutely not, and that she should not do any of that. Strike 3, she became pregnant with her married ex. Her and her ex concocted some ridiculous story that he just donated his sperm so she could have a baby to tell his wife. To be honest, I don't even know how that went over because I stopped talking to her after that. I had already been upset about her continuous affairs with married men with children and drunk driving that after this, I couldn't take it anymore and I ended the friendship. A mutual friend totally understood and was supportive, but another mutual friend had told me that I should be there to support her while she's pregnant because she basically didn't have anyone else. Needless to say, we had no contact until recently, where she contacted me on social media. It looks like her daughter is around 2 or 3 years old. Anyway, I've always wondered if I was the a-hole for abandoning my pregnant friend who was obviously struggling with her mental health. I did feel some guilt because despite all her personal issues, she actually was a good friend to me. I could call her any time to talk about a problem, and she was always willing to listen, and she was never judgmental. To be honest, I do miss our friendship at times. Also, I would talk to her about getting therapy, and she tried therapy for a few months, but then stopped going. I knew she was unhappy with her life, but I wasn't sure how to help. Disgruntled Pelican says, not the a-hole. She put herself in the situation, willingly went out and caused harm to others just to get what she wanted. So it's not on you to stick around because she put herself in these horrible situations. The fact that she was willing to go after these married men and lie, do illegal things for them, and willingly got herself pregnant with a married man would have me questioning my trust in her too. I mean, trying to loop me into insurance fraud and doing illegal crap for boyfriends alone would have me cutting off the friendship. Some people are too much, and cutting them off is what is best for you. JTD177 says, you are the company you keep. You made a judgment call and decided to get a bad person out of your life. Not the a-hole. RN Gen X3 says, not the a-hole. Cheaters and cheatees are my hard line. I used to have a sisterly relationship with a friend who was a serial cheater. Until, long story short, she propositioned my boyfriend right in front of me. I, 17 female, have been living with my dad, 37 male, since I was 10 years old. My mom and dad got divorced when I was 9. My mom tried to get full custody, but ended up getting supervised visits with my dad getting full custody. You would say my dad is one of those guys who would drop everything if something happened to me. But when I turned 16, he started dating my future stepmom, 31 female. Not even 6 months later, he asked her the big question, asking her to marry him. I had nothing against her, just that she would make small remarks about what I was eating and saying I was getting kind of chubby. I told my dad about it, but he said that she was just looking out for me and that I should not worry about it. When my dad said he wanted me to be one of her bridesmaids, she declined immediately, saying that I went with the part and that I wasn't responsible enough. My dad didn't argue with her and just said okay. When my dad told me about this, I was angry. I argued with my dad. That night, he told me to stop acting like a brat and to be more responsible in these situations, which me and my dad have never fought before. 2 weeks before their wedding, my stepmom's bracelet that she was going to wear for her wedding went missing. When I got home that morning from school, I found my room trashed, turned upside down completely with her looking under my bed. I yelled at her, saying what was she doing? She yelled at me, saying that I was a little thief and that I stole her bracelet. I yelled at her, saying that she was a gold-digging B-word and that she was only with my dad for his money. She burst out in tears. My dad came running, immediately taking her side. I packed my stuff and went to my mom's house to take a break from everything. I've been getting text messages from my dad and family members saying that she's been going through a lot and saying that I was just being an a-hole, and I've been wondering if I went too far. So am I the a-hole? LYSI85 says, not the a-hole. She violated your privacy, and your dad is backing her up. Intermountain Gal says, she wants you out of the house so she can have your dad to herself. Let her. He should have had your back, and he doesn't. Not the a-hole. Karamis623 says, am I the only one that thinks the stepmom was going to plant the stolen bracelet?